Green Bay Packers, 11-6 last year. I feel like they still have the youngest team in the NFL. I feel like I can keep that note for a few years now. Got their offense, Jordan Love. I think it is again. Yeah, I know it was the last 2 years. Everybody's on a rookie contract there. Jordan Love, now in his third year starting. Seen some really positive signs. Battled some injuries last year, it seemed like, but seems like he's 100% healthy. It looks good, at least from indications so far. Still got LaFleur calling plays. Still got a lot of assistant coaches back. Matt, I'll start with you. Packers offense, what are you focusing on? And I have a feeling what you're going to go with here.
God. Like a meme of myself, just keep talking about this wide receiver room. Tucker Kraft's groin injury, like that's got to get right. Okay, let's not miss too much time, Tucker Kraft, because it really does. No, I mean, for God's sakes, not to mention like he's the guy at tight end in fantasy I want to draft the most this year based on where he goes is Tucker Kraft. So, this is an offense I'm really high on. They were a great run game last year. They really leaned into it. I think they over leaned into it based on Jordan Love's health. I'm interested like what Aaron Banks brings to this team too. And, they're shuffling Elton Jenkins around. Like that could be if it hits, it's a lot of size, could be an interesting duo in the middle there. And like, that's part of what they signed Josh Jacobs for last year was I think they wanted to get a more diverse run game. They wanted to kind of go away, just like most of the coaches in this tree, they want to move a little bit away from the outside zone world and run more gap and like be a more physical run team. And I think that worked obviously to a great degree with Josh Jacobs last year. Now I think they want to double down on that again this year. Obviously Aaron Banks has been in San Francisco as they've transitioned away from some of the outside zone stuff and been more of a duo run team there with Christian McCaffrey. So, I mean, that I think really, look, as much as obviously, I could sit here and talk all damn day about the receivers and Jaden Reed not playing in 2 receiver sets and all that. I really think that obviously is Jordan Love's health is what's going to make or break the season. But ultimately, like that those two guys on the offensive line gelling is a big part of this.
Why doesn't the slot receiver play not in the slot? Well, you hear yourself? No, I that's exactly what it's. This offensive line is so interesting. I want to hear what Charles says before I dive into it a little bit, because I've been looking at family night clips that Justice Mosqueda has been tweeting out. So I have some thoughts to share, but Charles, what about you? What are you focusing on the Packers offense?
I like the offensive line combinations. I think are pretty fascinating because they've got got a bunch of guys that feel like they can do a little bit of everything. I mean, there were even rumors where Zach Tom, who got the contract extension to play tackle, like they were talking about him playing center at one point.
Yep.
Elton Jenkins playing center. You signed Aaron Banks. You still even have like Jordan Morgan, the first round pick from last year's team, where he tried to fit in on the offensive line. So man, they've got a lot of talent, and I think it's cool when you see, okay, this is when you invest in offensive line and coach it well. Like this is kind of the returns that you can get, where you get Zach Tom, who wasn't the first round pick, turned into a quality starter. Rasheed Walker, who was a 7th round pick, who's beating out your first round pick from last year at left tackle. So this is a interesting group, and if those guys can mesh, I mean, we already saw last year how well they could run the ball. We've seen Tucker Kraft turn into one of the best tight ends in the league. Now you got Matthew Golden. If he hits the ground running, I just think this is really going to be one of the best offenses in football, especially with the continued growth of Jordan Love. But it all starts up front for them.
Yeah, I was high on them. We all had them as a top 10 offense. I was high on them, and I ended up being like lower than you guys, which I was like, oh shoot, because I kind of felt the same way. That's why I love doing these shows, because as I talk it out and hear your thoughts and my thoughts, I'm just kind of like, there's a lot working here, because the O-line is my first note, because I'm, like I said, I was looking at family night clips, and there's Jordan Morgan at left tackle, and I liked Morgan a lot as a player. I thought he was going to transition to guard as a pro. I think they did too. The Packers kind of have this body type they like at offensive line, like just square build, big ass body type, and they just kind of like it, and they kind of go, we'll coach them up and we'll figure out our best 5. But it's kind of funny to see a whole offensive line built of the exact same player as far as body type wise. And it kind of works though for depth reasons, because these guys get cross training. Like Morgan could go to guard now. You have Walker at tackle. And then Banks there was the guard, Jenkins center, Sean Rain, and then Zach Tom at right tackle. But it's like, it's kind of nice to have, okay, this guy gets hurt, we can move this over. They might rotate their left tackle, which they've done in the past. They've rotated tackles by series in the past, not past like 50 years ago with Bart Starr. I'm talking about like last year or 2 years ago. They were rotating their tackles. So it's just like something they will do. But Morgan can play tackle. I mean, he had a great showing against Leatu Latu in college. So it's something to kept tabs on. But I'll talk about the receivers. This shakes out and guys stop dropping the ball, like just even half their drops. And then you just feel this offense will feel so much more just efficient and more consistent than it did last year, where it kind of felt up and down. I mean, think of the playoff game where some drives just felt bad and some drives felt great. And it just really was based off of consistency with these young guys. But Jordan Love lost the fourth most EPA to drops last year, 31.8 EPA lost on 28 drops last year. So it's like, yeah, just a little bit more there. But this offense was fourth in weighted DVOA, third in suplex rate, second half of the year. There's a lot of positive signs here. Love their attack. Love what they're kind of building here. A couple of guys take a step forward. Like, I think Jordan Love might go supernova this year. Like, he's a sneaky MVP candidate for me at 25-1, by the way, on BetMGM, as I looked up before the show. So yeah, there's something here that they might go supernova if it all goes right. Defensively, I had them as a top 10 defense. Did you guys? Can't even remember. I don't think you did. I was on my lonesome, was I? What a shame. All right. Matt, why didn't you have them as a top 10 defense? Or I should say this, actually. What are you focusing on with the Green Bay Packers defense? What's catching your eye?
Well, the answer to the question is the same. The reason I did not have them as a top 10 defense is the thing I'm focusing on, which is this cornerback room is a little bit shaky on paper. I do think that they can really kick ass in the front seven. They've got a lot of fun players up there. But, yeah, I mean, this could definitely be a cornerback room that's just getting launched over the head, you know. So that, I think, that's what's going to be the key for this defense is that a place that can come together? Because again, right now, I don't know, that alone was enough to keep them off the top 10 for me.
That's very fair. It's a lot of question marks that I'm trying to wave away. Same with you, Charles.
That's all it was. Really just a cornerback room. I mean, I do like a lot of other aspects of this defense. I mean, by the end of the year, we could be saying this is maybe the best linebacker tandem in the league with Edger Cooper and Quay Walker. They got some guys up front. Probably still want to see a little bit more out of Lucas Van Ness, but they've got pedigree. They've got talent. I'm just terrified of the CB room. Like, if Nate Hobbs is coming in as probably your best player, that's a little scary to me.
Yeah. It's kind of, I even was looking at some stuff and I watched some stuff last year too. They did some really cool disguises. We talked about this on top 10 defenses, why I liked what Jeff Hafley did and like some of the changes he made, more cover 2, which also helps kind of hide iffy corner play. Not saying bad, saying iffy corner play, but like what's going to help this that corner room and all the coverage and how, you know, Xavier McKinney can jump passes, and Evan Williams is a pretty nice player too on the back, and I gotta give him a shout out as well, is that you gotta get pressure. And this defense was like the epitome of that. Like, when they did not get pressure, it just did not go well. Last year, the defense, so this is all the second half of the year. So I have to always say these second half of the year stats for the Packers, especially because they made so many adjustments after their bye week, which came about midway through the year. But this defense on throws on 3 seconds or under, you know, on time to throw, third in suplex rate, third in EPA per play rate, fourth in explosive passes allowed, 10%. Over 3 seconds to throw from week 10 onwards, 18th in suplex, 18th in explosive passes allowed. It's just because they couldn't hold up if that pass rush didn't get home. The problem was they're 20th in pass rush pressure rate over the second half of the year. Third over the last month, but that might have been some of the offenses they faced. But yeah, that's just really what it is on this defense, is how these DBs hold up. There's interesting pass rushers, Lucas Van Ness, Devontae Wyatt. I know you know him a little bit as a Georgia Bulldog fan. How does he do with more extended run, more snaps to his game? But yeah, like you mentioned with the linebackers, Ezra Cooper is a star, like outright star. I'm sure we might talk about in a breakout player category, but yeah, this defense is interesting about what they could be. Now, Matt, what's the thing that can make or break the Packers season in your mind?
Yeah, I think the the receiver room coming together and Jordan Love being healthy over a full season, I agree with you, Nate, that like he's a sneaky candidate to lead the league in like passing touchdowns. I don't know, maybe they're not going to throw the ball enough necessarily, but I think they did not want to be as run heavy as they were last year. And I really think the talent of these guys, like guys can slot into the right roles. I also think that like Jaden Reed and Matthew Golden kind of working in tandem together on like the same side of the field. That's a lot of vertical stretch from Golden and horizontal stretch from Reed. That's going to just put teams in conflict. So I think this passing game is going to be awesome this year.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. I think there's going to be some fireworks going on with this offense. Charles, what about you? What's the thing to make or break the Packers?
Well, I guess I expect their secondary to be pretty bad. So I think that's going to put more emphasis on guys up front. Talk about Lucas Van Ness. He's a guy that is probably due for a pretty big year based on where he was drafted. Devontae Wyatt is going to get more burn this year. Rashawn Gary had like a weird year last year where he had some games where he was pretty quiet. But we know at his best, he's a really talented pass rusher. So I just think their front seven's really going to have to take over this year to kind of hide some of the deficiencies that they have on defense. But man, even saying that, like the spine of this defense is really strong. If Kenny Clark comes back and he's playing good football, we talk about the linebackers. Xavier McKinney and Evan Williams are a really good safety duo, and those guys are coming back. So it's not hopeless. I'm just scared that they have a critical flaw, and guys are going to need to compensate for where they are at the cornerback room.